the Lord, and welcome again to these Bible discussions. Today I'll be considering the topic, why only 144,000 Israelites will be saved to survive into the new world, or why only 144,000 Israelites will be saved to survive the end of this world. For you to understand why 144,000 will be saved, only 144,000 will be saved, first thing you need to know is to know about Yahuwah, the God of Israel. He is a God that reveals the future from the very beginning, and his decisions that he has made, those decisions that he has revealed to the prophets, those decisions cannot be changed, but they will stand and will be carried out. So the first thing is to understand Yahuwah, the God of Israel. He reveals the future from the very beginning. Join me to get more understanding about this as we consider the book of Isaiah, chapter 46, and I will read verse 8 to 10. And there it is written, so remember this and take courage. Take it to heart, you transgressors. Say, remember the former things of long ago, that I am God and there is no other. I am God and there is no one like me. From the beginning I foretell the outcome, and from long ago the things that have not yet been done. I say my decision will stand, and I will do whatever I please. So the God of Israel said that we should remember he is God, and there is no other God. He's the living God. He said he tells from the very beginning the future things that have not yet happened, and those decisions that he has made that will happen in the future will stand and they will be carried out. So understanding this about Yahuwah, the God of Israel, will help you to understand why only 144,000 Israelites will be saved to survive the end of this world. Another scripture that we can look at is this. Psalms 33 verse 11. And there it is written in Psalms 33 verse 11. There it is written, but the decisions of Yahuwah will stand forever. The thoughts of his heart is from generation to generation. So whatever decisions our God has made, those decisions regarding his people of Israel will stand forever and they will be carried out. So if he has revealed that 144,000 will be saved to survive the end of this world, that is what it will be. And whatever decisions he has made, you can count on it that those decisions will carry out exactly as he has said it, as he has revealed it to his prophets. So God has revealed to his servants, the prophets of Israel, the confidential things that he is carrying out. And these things and judgments are only known and revealed to the sons of Israel. Yes, they are only revealed to the prophets of Israel. The peoples of other nations have no idea or have no understanding of his judgment that he has made. Even the judgment he has made, long decisions he has made long ago, before Israel became a nation. The people of other nations do not understand or know about these judgments, so they do not know the things the true God of Israel, Yahuwah, is doing. Join me as I read the book of Amos. Amos chapter 3 verse 7. Amos chapter 3 verse 7. There it is written, "For the sovereign Lord Yahuwah will not do a thing unless he has revealed his confidential matters to his servants, the prophets." So it tells us that the sovereign Lord Yahuwah will not do a single thing unless he has revealed those matters to his servants, the prophets. And these prophets are the prophets from Israel, not from any other nation. It's only he reveals these things to his prophets from Israel, that they may know the things the living God, the true God, is doing. At Psalms, the book of Psalms, chapter 147, Psalms 147, look at verse 19, verse 19 and 20. There it is written, "He declares his word to Jacob, his regulations and judgment to Israel. He has not done so with any other nation. They know nothing about his judgment." Praise Yah. So Yahuwah declares his judgment to his servants of Israel. He said he has not done so with any other nation. So none of these other prophets that are written is from any other nation except from Israel. So they are the people that God reveals his judgment and his decisions of what he is doing. They are the ones that know of what Yahuwah, the God of Israel, is doing. So those things that he has revealed to them, you can be sure that those things must be carried out just as Yahuwah has revealed them to his servants, the prophets. So, yes, the Romans and their descendants, the Chinese and their descendants, the Europeans and their descendants, and all other peoples and their descendants do not understand the judgment of Yahuwah, the God of Israel. Only the chosen ones out of Israel will understand the judgment and decisions of Yahuwah, the God of Israel. Yes, he is the living God, but he reveals his decisions and judgments only to his servants, the prophets of Israel. So these chosen ones are the ones that he has chosen, and he has taught of the things that he is doing. Using his Holy Spirit, he teaches and reveals to these ones what he is doing. He reveals to them of his activities of long ago, and also he informs them of the present and the future events that are yet to come. Join me as I read Isaiah chapter 54 verse 13. Isaiah chapter 54 verse 13. And there it is written, all your sons will be taught by Yahuwah, and the peace of your sons will be abundant. Yes, all the sons, the ones that God will adopt as sons from Israel. Yes, these chosen ones will be taught by Yahuwah, and he teaches them using his Holy Spirit that he pours out on them, that reveals to them of the things our God is doing, his things that he foretold long ago, and the future things that he will do. So all these ones chosen as sons of and servants of Yahuwah will be taught by him. And these ones are among the 144,000 that will survive the end of this world. Join me as I read the book of John. John chapter 6, verse 44 and 45. John chapter 6, verse 44 and 45. And there is written, no man can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will resurrect him on the last day. It is written in the prophets, they will all be taught by Yahuwah. Everyone who has listened to the Father and has learned comes to me. So Yahushua, the Son of God, says that no one can come to him unless they were chosen by the Father. Yes, unless the Father has drawn you, then you cannot come to the Messiah to be led. So Yahuwah chooses those that he adopts as his sons. And these ones, he trains them, he teaches them, and he revealed himself to such ones so that they will serve him. So the rest of the people who are not taught, who have not learned of the Father, these ones are the ones misled by the wicked one, the devil. Yes, he misleads them so that they do not understand or know what the Father is doing. Yes, join me as I read Matthew chapter 24, verse 4. Matthew chapter 24, verse 4. There it is written, in answer, Yeshua said to them, look out that nobody misleads you. So he gave the warning so that the people of Israel are not misled, because the wicked one, the devil, will come and he will mislead many. Join me as I read Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. There is written, so down the great dragon was hurled, the original serpent, the one called Devil and Satan, who is misleading the entire inhabited earth. He was hurled down to the earth, and his angels were hurled down with him. So the devil, the dragon, is misleading the entire inhabited earth. Is misleading them of who the true God is. Is misleading them concerning who the true people of Israel is. and is misleading the entire inhabited earth. But the 144,000 of Israelites, the ones chosen to survive the end of this world, will now be among those misled. That's why Yahushua gave the warning, do not be misled. These 144,000 Israelites are those that are not misled by the devil, because the devil will mislead the entire inhabited earth. So the ones that are not misled are the ones that will survive to the end of this world. So the question then is this: how many of these chosen ones out of Israel will be adopted as sons? How many of the chosen ones, the ones that God will draw to himself, that he will adopt as sons of God? Well, join me as I read the book of Romans chapter 8, verse 19. Romans 8:19. There it is written, for the creation is waiting with eager expectation for the revealing of the sons of God. Yes, the whole creation of God is waiting for the revealing of these chosen ones that will serve Yahuwah alongside with his son on the restored Mount Zion. Yes, the whole creation is waiting for them to be revealed, and they will be revealed at the right times, those that will survive the end of this world, for those that will serve Yahuwah on his holy Mount Zion. Amos chapter 9 verse 11. Let's see when these ones will be revealed. Amos 9:11. It is written, in the day I will raise up the boot of David that is fallen. I will repair the breaches, and I will restore its ruins, and I will rebuild it as in the days of long ago. So these chosen ones will be revealed in the day when the appointed time comes for God to again restore and rebuild the house of David that has fallen. As the house of David fell in the year 70 AD, when the Romans completely destroyed Jerusalem and its surrounding, and scattered all the descendants of Israel away from the land. The house of David fell then, but God said he's going to do what? Rebuild and restore the house of David that has fallen. Join me again as I read Luke chapter 1 verse 32 and 33. Luke chapter 1 verse 32 and 33. Luke chapter 1 verse 32 and 33. And there it is written, this one will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High, and Yahuwah God will give him the throne of David his father, and he will rule as king over the house of Jacob, and there will be no end to his kingdom. Yes, so Yahushua, the Son of God, will rule in the restored new Mount Zion, the restored house of David. So God will give him the throne of David for him to sit and rule over the house of David forever. So Yahushua will rule over these chosen ones of Israel, the ones that God will choose out of the people of Israel. He will teach about himself, and this one will serve Yahuwah in his restored holy mountain. If you turn to the book of, again, Luke chapter 1, verse 69. Luke chapter 1, verse 69. This is what is prophesied. And he raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of David, his servant, just as he has spoken through the mouth of his holy prophet from of old, of a salvation from our enemies and from the hands of all those hating us, to show mercy in connection with our forefathers, and to call to mind his holy covenant, the oath that he swore to Abraham, our forefather, to grant us, after we have been rescued from the hands of enemies, the privilege of fearlessly rendering sacred service to him with loyalty and righteousness before him all our days. So these ones chosen by God, these ones regarded back because of the horn of salvation that God has raised for the people of Israel. These ones will be restored back to the holy Mount Zion, and Yahushua will rule over them, and they will serve Yahuwah and render sacred service to him all our day. Yes, they will do this in his holy mountain. So these ones chosen by Yahuwah himself and trained by him will return to Mount Zion to serve him and to serve him along with his son Yahushua. They will restore Zion. The question then is, what will happen to the rest of the Israelites who are not chosen to return back to the promised land? Well, God revealed, according to Isaiah chapter 10, verse 21 to 23. Please turn there. Let me read that. Isaiah chapter 10, verse 21 to 23. Isaiah chapter 10. There is written, "Only a remnant will return, the remnant of Jacob, to the mighty God. For though your people, O Israel, are as the grain of the sand of the sea, only a remnant will return. An extermination has been decided on, and justice will engulf them. Yes, the extermination decided on by the sovereign Lord, Yahuwah of armies, will be carried out in the entire land." So the rest of the Israelites, even though they multiply and they are grain as the sand of the sea, only this chosen remnant will return back to Mount Zion. 144,000. They are the ones that will return to serve Yahuwah our God in Zion. The rest of the people of Israel will be exterminated. And this is the decision that the sovereign Lord have done have made long ago. So yes, he has already made it clear how many will be saved out of the people of Israel, how many will be returned back to Zion to serve him. The rest that are not chosen, they will be exterminated. Amos chapter 9 verse 10. Amos chapter 9 verse 10. And there it is written, Amos chapter 9 verse 10. It's written, they will die by the sword, all the sinners of my people, those who are saying, the calamity will not come near us or reach us. Yes, Israelites who are saying that, oh, God will not do what he has said he will do. They will find out when the time comes that God will do whatever he says he will do because he is God. So he said, they will all die by the sword. Just like Isaiah said, they will be exterminated, all the rest of Israelites who are not chosen to return back to Zion, to serve Yahuwah in his holy, restored Mount Zion. So only a chosen remnant of Israel will return to serve Yahuwah in his holy Mount Zion. The rest of Israel will be annihilated along with the wicked ones during the final judgment at the end of the 2,000 years punishment that is imposed on all Israel. So at the end of this 2,000 years punishment, only the chosen remnant will return to serve Yahuwah. The rest of Israelites will be annihilated. That is the decision of the sovereign Lord Yahuwah. And this decision will be carried out in all the land. So God revealed the number of Israelites that will return to serve him, the ones he will show mercy upon. These ones will stand on Mount Zion with Yahushua, God's Son, leading them to carry out and fulfill the will of God for the earth. These ones will accomplish and establish a righteous rulership over the entire earth. Join me as I read the book of Romans chapter 9 verse 14 to 16. Romans chapter 9 verse 14 to 16. He said, what are we to say then? Is there injustice with God? He says, certainly not. For he says to Moses, I will show mercy to whomever I will show mercy, and I will show compassion to whomever I will show compassion. So then, it depends not on a person's desire or his effort, but on God who has mercy. So, there is no injustice with God. He said that he will show mercy to the ones that he will choose to show mercy, and he will also annihilate the ones that he will choose to annihilate. So it depends on him. He is the one that will draw or choose the ones that he will reveal himself to, the ones that he will teach about himself, that he will allow to know him, and the rest he will destroy. And that's his decision. Join me again as I read Revelation chapter 14, verse 1. Revelation chapter 14, verse 1. And there it is written, Then I saw and looked the Lamb standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000 who have his name and the name of his Father written on their forehead. So here it is revealed that only 144,000 Israelites will stand on Mount Zion. They are the ones that God will grant salvation. For in Isaiah chapter 46 verse 13, God said he will grant salvation to Israel in Zion, and his splendor to Israel in Mount Zion. So this 144,000 Israelites, according to Revelation chapter 7, are the ones that will be saved, are preserved, and these are the ones that will stand, that will survive the judgment of God that is coming. And these ones will stand on Mount Zion with Yahuwah to render sacred service to our God forever. So these ones chosen will accomplish and establish a righteous rulership over the earth. Yahuwah will rule over them, and from among them God will choose princes and kings and princes and priests to rule over the earth. So the question then is, what about who are the survivors of all the other nations? Who are the survivors of the other nations? And how many are there? Well, if you turn to Revelation chapter 7, verse 9 to 10, Revelation chapter 7, and let's read verse 9 to 10. And there is written, After these things I saw and looked a great crowd which no man was able to number, out of all the nations and tribes and peoples and tongues, standing before the throne of and before the Lamb, dressed in white robes, and there were palm branches in their hands, and they kept shouting and with a loud voice, saying, Salvation we owe to our God, who is seated on the throne, and to the Lamb. So there will be a number of great crowd that will survive from the peoples of other nations. And these ones will also agree that they are being saved is because of our God chose to spare their life. And that's why they were standing ready to do what? To render service to Yahuwah, the God of Israel, and to the Lamb. Yes, so they have palm branches in their hands as a symbol of peace, or supporting the rulership of God that he will establish in Zion. So these ones are from what? From different nations, of all the nations, tribes, and peoples, and tongues. The question is, how many are there? How many are this great crowd? We'll turn to Zechariah chapter 8, verse Zechariah chapter 8, verse 20 to 21 to 23. Chapter 8. And there is what is written. This is what Yahuwah of armies says. It will yet come to pass that peoples and the inhabitants of many cities will come, And the inhabitants of one city will go to those of another and say, let us earnestly go to beg for the favor of Yahuwah and seek the God of armies, and seek Yahuwah of armies. I am also going. And many peoples and mighty nations will come to seek Yahuwah of armies in Jerusalem and beg for the favor of Yahuwah. This is what Yahuwah of armies says. In those days, 10 men out of all the languages of the nations will take hold. Yes, they will take firm hold of the robe of a Jew, saying, we want to go with you, for we have heard that God is with you people. So, yes, there will be survivors from other nations, and these ones are the ones that are willing to go and seek for the favor of the God of Israel. Okay? That is what is written. And their number we can decide, we can discern their number by what is written. It said 10 men out of every language that is on earth will take hold of the skirt of one that is a Jew or an Israelite. So 10 men out of every language will join the surviving Israelites to go and worship Yahuwah in his restored holy mountains. So ask Google, how many languages do we have today on earth? Google will tell you is about 77,100 and something languages that is spoken on earth. So 10 men out of this 71,000 will give you what? About 71,000 or approximately 72,000 people of other nations, from all other nations on earth. About only 72,000 of them will survive after the judgment of God that is coming. And these 10 men out of every language will join the 144,000 Israelites to go and serve Yahuwah in his holy Mount Zion. So these ones will also acknowledge that they are spared, or they survived, because God chose to grant them salvation, to save them from the rest. Because what about the rest of the people? We will see what will happen to them. So, in this way, is fulfilled what is written in the scripture. The little one will become a mighty nation. Join me as I read Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 7. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 7. And there it is written, it was not because you were the most numerous of all the peoples that Yahuwah showed affection for you and chose you, for you were the smallest of all the peoples. Yes, the Israelites were the smallest in number when Yahuwah chose them to become his people. Compared to all other nations surrounding them, they were the smallest in number. But Yahuwah chose them. And at Isaiah chapter 60, verse 22, join me as I read that. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 22, and there it is written, the little one will become 1,000, and the smallest one a mighty nation. I myself, Yahuwah, will speed it up in its own time. Yes, Israel was the smallest when he was chosen. But God said that this little one will become a mighty nation. He will become 1,000. So at the end of the judgment of God that is coming upon the earth, 144,000 Israelites will survive, compared to 71 or 72,000 people of all the other nations that will survive. Compared to that, Israelite will become now a mighty nation, and all other nations, people of the earth, will become what? Small. So Yahuwah said he will carry out the decisions that he has made. He said he will speed it up in his own time. He foretold these things from the very beginning so that we can understand what he is doing. So, yes, the little one will become a mighty nation. For 144,000 that will survive of Israelites will be mighty, will double the number of the people of all every other people that will survive on earth. So the Israelites will rule over the earth after God finishes his judgment of the earth for the second time. Join me as I read. The question is this: when will these things take place? Or when will these things that God has foretold long ago, when are they going to be done? Join me as I read the book of Jeremiah, chapter 25. Jeremiah 25, verse 29 to 35. And there it was foretold, For look, if I am bringing calamity first, for look, if I am bringing calamity first on the city that bear my name, should you go unpunished? You will not go unpunished, for I am calling for a sword against all the inhabitants of the earth, declares Yahuwah of armies. And you are to prophesy all these words to them and say to them, from on high Yahuwah will roar, and from his holy dwelling he will make his voice heard. He will roar loudly against his abiding place, shouting like those treading down winepress. He will sing triumphantly against all the inhabitants of the earth. A noise will resound to the ends of the earth for Yahuwah has a controversy with the nations. He will personally pass judgment on all humans. He will put the wicked to the sword, declares Yahuwah. This is what Yahuwah of armies says. He said, look, a calamity is spreading from nation to nation, and a great tempest will be unleashed from remotest part of the earth. And those slain by Yahuwah in that day will be from one end of the earth clear to the other ends of the earth. They will not be mourned, nor will they be gathered up or buried. They will become like manure to the surface of the ground. Well, you shepherds, and cry out, wallow about, you majestic ones of the flock, because the time of your slaughter and your dispersion has come, and you will fall like a precious vessel. The shepherds have no place to flee, and there is no escape for the majestic ones of the flock. So this event will take place when God's time arrives to bring judgment upon the nations. He said he will first bring judgment upon the city, that is Israel, his people of Israel, that bear his name. But he asked the question, if he brought judgment upon the nation of Israel, do the nations think that they will escape, that they will go free? He said, no, they will not go free. For he will do what? Bring judgment upon the nations and the peoples of the earth. So a calamity will go from nation to nation, from the remotest part of the earth to the other, and those put to death will become so many. So Yahuwah will take this action when the time comes to bring judgment upon mankind. So he will personally pass judgment on all humans as to who will live and who will be put to death. So these things will be carried out when Israel finish serving their 2,000 years punishment imposed on them. Then it will be the time for the nations to be judged. So when time arrives, this will take place when the time arrives for the wicked sinners of Israel to be annihilated, and that for the kingdom of God to be restored. Again, join me as I read the book of Amos, Amos chapter 9, verse 10 and 11. Just to give you a timeline of when these things will be carried out. Amos chapter 9, verse 10 and 11. So they will die by the sword, all the sinners of my people, those who are saying the calamity will not come near us or reach us. In the day that I will raise up the boot of David that is fallen, I will repair the breaches, and I will restore its ruins, and I will rebuild it as in the days of long ago. So God said he's going to carry out this action of putting to death all the presumptuous ones of Israel who are thinking that this calamity will not take place, or God will not do such a thing. Imagine he would destroy all these billions and billions of people. God said this will happen in the day when the time comes for him to restore and rebuild the house of David that has fallen. He will carry out these actions. And as I've read from the beginning, whatever decisions Yahuwah has made, that decision stands to be carried out. For the decisions of Yahuwah stands forever, and the thoughts of his heart is from generation to generation. The same way, Isaiah chapter 10, we read it before. Isaiah chapter 10. Verse 21. So only a remnant will return, the remnant of Jacob, to the mighty God. For though your people, O Israel, are as the grain of the sand of the sea, Only a remnant will return. An extermination has been decided on, and justice will engulf them. Yes, the extermination decided on by the sovereign Lord Yahuwah of armies will be carried out in all the entire land. So God has made these decisions of long ago. Only a chosen ones of 144,000 from the people of Israel will survive. Yes, will survive the judgment that is coming. And you, the Negroes, are the true Israelites of the Bible. Although in many places you have been told that you are not the people of the book, but you are the people of the book. This is why you, the Negro, should be on your knees, begging and pleading with the Most High to have mercy on you and to favor you to be one of the ones that He will save at the end of His judgment on us. If you do, you will be among those that will stand on holy Mount Zion to render sacred service to our God. And only about 72,000 of all the rest of all the peoples will survive the judgment that is coming. So unless you are chosen by God to be preserved alive during this time of judgment, extermination is what is decided. Yahuwah will reduce the population of the earth, or population of humans, again, as He was in the days of Noah. He will bring a judgment that will reduce the population of the earth in order to carry out His will. So, yes, only 144,000 Israelites will be saved. They are the ones that will stand in Mount Zion with Yahushua as king to rule over them. And only about 72,000 of other peoples of the earth will survive the coming judgment that is coming. So these ones who are the ones who have taken time to seek to know the God of Israel and has pleaded with Him for mercy, and the ones that He has chosen to show mercy upon. So there is still an avenue or an opportunity to be among those that will be saved if people will look and seek for the God of Israel before the great day of His judgment comes upon us. So this is for you that is listening. Only those that have listened and have acted will be the ones that will survive. So thank you for listening. Like my video if you find this message encouraging and interesting. Subscribe to this channel and share this video with others so that many people can see the light of truth. For the devil has been misleading the whole inhabited earth and leading mankind to their destruction. But only those who turn around to seek for Yahuwah, the God of Israel, are the ones that will be preserved alive in the coming judgment. Again, thank you.